ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। हरे कृष्णा dear devotees, welcome.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, सादर प्रणाम माता जी।
Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So welcome to today's speaking on Varnasrama Dharma session. This is session 3 and today is the 5th of January 2025. In yesterday's session, we read the last part of introduction. The highlights of that were that Srila Prabhupada, right from the beginning, stressed the importance of creating a body of Brahmanas. That means it will be a group of devotees. Then we saw what are the requirements for a Brahmana. One who is strictly following the standards of spiritual life, who is dedicated to studying scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and who is teaching the same thing to the society, who's conveying the same message to society. But the question is, even in Vedic society, there were Brahmanas, but in the modern day, Brahmanas are accepted based on heredity by birth, but they were not able to do justice to the duties of a Brahmana, which is living by the standards of spiritual life, studying Bhakti Shastras like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and conveying that message to everyone. So, in that situation, what should be done if there are no Brahmanas, but Brahmanas are required? Then Srila Prabhupada, or we read that by following the Pancharatrika Vidhi as given by Narad Muni in his Narad Pancharatra, he gave Narad Pancharatra. So by following that Pancharatrika Vidhi, even one who is not born in a Brahmana family can be trained into a Brahmana. And whatever is said by Narad Muni is once again confirmed, endorsed by Srila Sanatan Goswami in his Hari Bhakti Vilas. So we also discussed how Hari Bhakti Vilas as well as Satkriya Saradipika are the guidelines for a community of devotees, how the community should be conducted, what type of karma and how much karma the people in that devotee community must be following. Then also we read how Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur faced opposition from the caste Brahmanas. Caste Brahmanas means, or what we call Smarta Brahmanas, who uh, who claim that only by birth one can be Brahmanas, and anyone who is not a Brahmana by birth, cannot be initiated. And following Narada Pancharatra and Haribhakti Vilas, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was initiating those who didn't take birth as Brahmanas, and this was outrageous to the Smarta Brahmanas. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur fought against that. And our Srila Prabhupada also faced the same difficulty when he was giving Brahminical initiation to those who were born uh, in families, Westerners, the people who are born in the Western countries. But Srila Prabhupada was convinced, and he very staunchly defended initiating, um, initiating people based on the Vidhi, Pancharatra Vidhi given by Narad Muni and also by Srila Sanatan Goswami, and as personally exemplified by his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And in that, we also saw even women would actually qualify by following. So women would also, according to Srila Sanatan Goswami's Hari Bhakti Vilas, women could also be given Brahminical initiation as long as those conditions are satisfied. Then what were the difficulties? So Srila Prabhupada went ahead giving initiations to the Westerners, Brahminical initiations, and they were actually not just him, but the whole world could see how people who were so sinful, who were addicted to sinful activities like drugs, to sex, to meat eating, they had been converted into exemplary Vaishnavas. Uh, by this method of following the Pancharatra Vidhi. So then we also saw how Srila Prabhupada, quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, a fourth canto, that the preachers in the Krishna consciousness movement have actually, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, that the preachers in the Krishna consciousness movement have actually experienced that even the Yavanas and Mlechas have taken to spiritual life on the strength of Narad Muni's Pancharatrika Vidhi. So yes, there was success. He was able to, there were a group of devotees who were able to sincerely follow the standards of temple living. But at the same time, the downside was a large percentage of those who were initiated as Brahmanas started falling away because they were not able to sustain, they were not able to keep up with the Brahminical standards, that is, living in the temple, the rigorous Brahminical standards that were required, rising early in the morning, taking bath 3 times a day, worshipping the deities, maintaining cleanliness, studying the scripture, teaching. They were not able to keep up with this. So then at that time, we also saw how, here it is compared to the slogan that the Marine Corps had, that are you good enough to get in? That means, do you have enough, you know, uh, strength, right? Enough qualification to actually join the army like that, or the Marines. So similarly, at that time, those who were falling away, for them the slogan was, "Are you good enough to stay in?" Right? Are you? It was so difficult. Only those who are qualified could remain. Many were falling away. That's when, this was in March 1972, when Srila Prabhupada considered, not only considered, he actually started chalking out plans for the creation of Varnashram College. Why? Because not everyone is able to become a Brahmana. And it's not even required that everyone should be a Brahmana, right? In Varnashram College, there will be training for all four Varnas: Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. Then, when Srila Prabhupada was preaching like this, they would have these Varnashrama walks, and devotees were surprised that, what they thought was Krishna consciousness, now something, Srila Prabhupada was, uh, giving a new approach. So they were quite surprised. They were thinking that only Brahmanas could be Krishna conscious. So Krishna consciousness is not just for Brahmanas, even others can be Krishna conscious. This was new. So this was the beginning of Prabhupada's deliberate move to establish a total Varnashram structure, not just Brahmanas, but a complete Varnashram structure where there will be Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, and everyone will be Krishna conscious. So this happened in March of 1974. And finally, we see in 1977, 3 years after this, there's a very famous presentation by Srila Prabhupada with great conviction that uh, you cannot make everyone a Brahmana and sannyasi. And Krishna consciousness is not meant just for a few people who are able to become Brahmanas. Krishna consciousness is meant for everyone, for the whole world. And you cannot expect everyone to be Brahmanas. So he reiterated emphatically his conviction that Varnasrama is the critical tool for spreading Krishna consciousness. If you want Krishna consciousness in the entire world, then the very, very critical, important tool to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world is Varnasrama. Then he also said that only the sannyasis and brahmanas are going to be a small scale, right? How many, if you look at the whole world, how much percentage is actually brahmanas and sannyasis? A very, very insignificant number of people can actually come to the standard of being sannyasis or brahmanas. But if you want the whole world to be Krishna conscious, then you must introduce this Krishna consciousness movement according to Lord Krishna's instructions. As we see in the 18th chapter, how Krishna is speaking about everyone is influenced by the modes. Every person in this creation is influenced by the modes. Based on the modes, each person has a particular swabhava, and there can be four varnas or four divisions based on karma and swabhava, guna and karma. Then that is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And there are activities and qualities for each one. They are also delineated by Krishna. So this Krishna consciousness movement must be established according to Krishna's instructions if you want to do it in a large scale for the benefit of the whole human society. So this was actually said by Srila Prabhupada on February 14th, 1977, which happens to be the Valentine's Day. So this is called Mayapur Valentine, right? This presentation by Srila Prabhupada on February 14, 1977. 1977 is also the year when Srila Prabhupada left the planet. So, or he disappeared. His physically, he disappeared from this planet in 1977. So therefore, that is the, that's the last year. This was the last presentation. So therefore, it's called the Mayapur Valentine. That means this is real love to establish a social system that can bring everyone from the Brahmanas, sannyasis, to the Shudras and the most materialistic people. Everyone can be brought back home, back to Godhead. Like that, we concluded yesterday's session, and also we concluded the introduction. Now we will start with the first chapter. So, as I told you before, speaking about Varnashrama is Srila Prabhupada's spoken quotes from his conversations, from morning walks, like that, and even classes, his spoken words. So we will just go and we will read. So that it's given according to each topic. Under that topic, we'll be reading Srila Prabhupada's conversations, like that. So the first topic is mutual respect in Varnashrama. This is the first topic, mutual respect in Varnashrama. And this is taken from a room conversation in Montreal on July 16, 1968. Room conversation in Montreal on July 16, 1968. Testing the success of one's occupation. Government grants land to, so these are the topics that will be covered in this. Testing the success of one's occupation, right? The occupation that you're doing, is it successful? or what are the standards of success? Government grants land to citizens, taxes linked to production, caste system, natural versus corrupt. So in caste system also there is corrupt caste system and natural caste system. So that will be covered. In Varnasrama, everyone's position treated with honor, regardless of whether you are Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, everyone will be treated with honor. These are the topics that will be covered in this conversation. Srila Prabhupada, you can sit down. So everyone is working, never mind in whatever occupation one is engaged, that does not matter. But one has to test whether he is becoming successful because everyone wants success. We are not animals that without any success we shall work hard labor. That is animals' business. Just like several times I have given the example, Dophar, Dophara Gadha, the ass of the washerman. Dhobi, like Dhobi's Gadha, Dophar Gadha, the ass of the washerman. That kind of business and work is no use. Dophara Gadha, ass of the washerman. Here, of course, you have no experience. In India, there is a class who are called washermen. In India, there are four castes. Washerman, a class. Barber, a class. I mean to say, so many departmental. So each and every one, there is a class who take up that work. Sweeper, a class. Hmm? Then all the necessities. The clerk, even clerk, there is a class. Priest, there is a class. The fighter, there is a class. That is nice arrangement in India. And florists, there is a class, florist. Their business is simply to supply flower. Fisherman, there is a class. Butcher, there is a class. Just like we have got a temple, now we require potter. Potter, there is a class. In Jagannath temple, the arrangement is that the prasadam is cooked every day in new earthen pot. No old pot is used. Once used, it is thrown away. Formerly, this was the system in India. Even dishes, once used, it is thrown away. No washing. So nice, huh? No need to wash. Cook and finished. No washing. Even golden dishes, silver dishes, once used, it is thrown away. My God. And now, golden dishes, there is no use of golden dishes. Neither nobody throws it away. But that was the system. Now, the earthen dishes, just like china clay dishes, this is considered impure because it is repeatedly used. In India, those who are strict Hindus, earthen dishes once used, it will be thrown away. Clay dishes. So this is china clay dish. It is not to be used again. It is thrown away. Just like you have got paper plates and glass here. You eat it and eat in it and throw it away. Similarly, in India, now it is being introduced, these paper dishes gradually, but from very old time, refreshment or food stuff supplied in clay dishes, and after eating it is thrown away. So there is a potter class who flourish. They sell their products, just like in your country also. So many things are thrown away so that the manufacturer gets a chance to sell again, right? Reusable, not reusable, disposable. Once you throw away, you have to buy again. So like that. So everyone has got a particular type of profession. The potter, the washerman, and the florist, the grain dealer, the silver or gold dealer, the banker, and everything. And the priest and the warrior. So even in India, still there is no difficulty for draft board. If there is a war, there's no need to go and look for people who's going to fight. You don't need a draft, or even if there is a draft board, there's no difficulty because Kshatriyas will just come. They're ready. They think this is an opportunity. For Kshatriyas, when there is an opportunity to fight, they're waiting for this all their life. When they'll get an opportunity to actually, show their bravery in battle. So there's no difficulty for the draft board. There is a class, Kshatriya. They will be very glad to be recruited as soldier. They are very strong. They are called Jat. Jat. They are called Jat, Gurkha. They don't like any other occupation. Fighting, they like. The Sikhs, they are Jat class. And the Gurkha, oh, the whole British Empire was extended with the help of the Sikhs and the Gurkhas because they were warriors. See, this is the science. See, every person has a nature, a swabhava. You cannot change that swabhava. It is there in him, that swabhava. So he will, if you engage him according to his swabhava, he's very happy, right? He will function very nicely in his swabhava. So these Sikhs and Gurkhas, they are kshatriyas by nature. That's their swabhava. They are very happy when they get an opportunity to fight in a war. So the British Empire was extended with the help of the Sikhs and the Gurkhas. It was in name, it was actually British Army, but in reality, inside the army, who you will see? The Indian soldiers, the Kshatriyas of India, the Sikhs and Gurkhas, they were fighting for British in different countries, and the British is conquering everyone. The Britishers took these Gurkhas and the Sikhs to Burma, to Mesopotamia. They liquidated the empire because they lost India. So when they lost India, the British Empire was also finished. As long as the British had India, they were able to conquer different places. But once they lost India, the whole British Empire was also lost because they didn't have warriors who could fight for them. The British soldiers were not helping to keep up their empire. These Indian soldiers, in the first war, they gained for these Indian soldiers. They fought in France and everywhere very nicely. So when the Indian soldiers were there, the British was conquering. Even in France, they fought the Indian soldiers, the Gurkhas and Sikhs, they fought very nicely. They are fighter class. They like to fight. Any fighting is not going every day, of course, right? Daily there's no fight. So the arrangement was just like you have to fight for the state. So there is no monthly salary system. You are awarded by the government a certain tract of land free because you need food. Food comes from land. Today, it is such a situation that we think food comes from the store, right? Milk comes from the milk packets or from milk jugs, right? Fruits and vegetables come from the shop. From the grocery market, you get fruits and vegetables. Actually, it's growing from land. Who knows this? So they would be given land because every day there is no fight, there's no question of salary. They get land. Fighting is not going every day. So the arrangement was just like you have to fight for the state. So there is no monthly salary system. You are awarded by the government a certain tract of land free. You produce grains and utilize the land. No tax for you. That means whatever you grow, you take. You don't have to pay tax for that because you're fighters, you're fighting for the government. In uh, uh, in reciprocation for your services, the government gives you land for free. You use that land, you grow food, or you hire someone to grow food for you, whatever, but you don't have to pay taxes to the government for what you're growing on that land. But when there will be war, you have to come to fight. That's the agreement. Whenever there is war, you have to come to fight. And they're more than happy because they're Kshatriyas. They're happy to fight. So when there will be war, you shall fight. Very nice arrangement. I want to tell one thing here. This growing food, especially food. We are not talking about growing cloth, cotton, and other things. But the basic food like grains that you eat, huh? This all classes would do. It's not that only the Vaishya class will do. A Brahmana will have his cow and he will have a piece of land. A Kshatriya, everyone, there's nothing. Whenever we talk about, oh, we should have our little piece of land and grow food and have for yourself, why not? They immediately, we have this misconception. We think, oh, that is a Vaishya's job to grow food. I won't grow food. and I won't take care of the cow. What do you mean? Do you drink milk or not? you need, food is essential. Kshatriya is a fighter. Just see what Srila Prabhupada is saying. They are Kshatriyas, but throughout the year you are not fighting. You are not fighting throughout the year. You can hire someone or whatever, or you can do it also. There's nothing demeaning in if you have your land and you grow food and you have your, you have a cow and you milk your cow. That doesn't mean now you fell from Kshatriya's position. It doesn't mean that. Vaishyas, they do it for the whole society. They grow enough so that they have for themselves and they're growing for the rest of the society also. That Kshatriyas won't do, or Brahmanas, or they can do little bit whatever they need. They have their land, or they can hire some Shudras to come and work for them. Shudras work for others. Yeah, Shudras can come and work on the field for Kshatriyas, but they have land also. In fact, Kshatriya means a landowner who holds land. That's a Kshatriya. Okay. So this is very nice arrangement. Kshatriyas will get some land. Similarly, in temple, the florist has to supply flowers daily. Yes. Now also we see, right? Big temples, ISKCON temples also. We need so many flowers every day. So in India, you have a flower supplier who supplies regularly. In temple, the florist has to supply flowers daily. Mr. Khanwar, am I right? You know this Indian system? Mr. Khanwar, yes. Prabhupada. So the florist is given a certain tract of land free. See. So he has to supply flowers. So he is given a tract of land free. And let him produce flower and make business. But the quantity of flower I require for my temple, he must supply daily. How nice, huh? The temple has land. Temple has land. We were reading in Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Temple means Krishna's land. It's not belonging to the priest or somebody in the temple. No, that is Krishna's land. So Krishna is not dependent on your donation, that if you don't give donation, Krishna does not get his flowers, he does not get his grains. It's not like that. Krishna has his own land, each temple. We read in Chaitanya Charitamrita about the various temples, the deities in Bengal, right? Various deities, they had so much land. What to speak of feeding Krishna? They were producing so much every day, they would feed thousands of people, prasadam, meals, full meals they would serve out on Krishna's account. On Krishna's account, they were doing it. So, how they will maintain all that? So, even for that, somebody coming and growing, they also need, they're also a class of people. This is Varnasrama system. That's exactly what Srila Prabhupada is saying here. One class of people are florists. They just grow flowers. They just grow flowers. And some piece of land, the temple gives this much piece of land to this florist. This is temple land. You can grow on this. But the condition is every day you have to supply flowers to Krishna. And he will produce more. And whatever you produce, you can sell. You can make a business of it for your livelihood. But you should supply this much flower we need every day for Krishna. You have to provide. Nice. That's his, service also to Krishna. You can say that is his tax, and he's also living nicely. And generation after generation they will do. Such a nice system. In the temple also, the priest, generation after generation, they can be serving the deities because that's a class. Priestly class is a class. Those who grow flowers is a class. Those who grow grains, they are a particular class. Washermen, a class. Like that. So the florist is given a certain tract of land free and let him produce flower and make business. But the quantity of flower I require for my temple, he must supply daily. Similarly, the bandsman, he should come and play band, right? Those who play instruments. That's another class. You see, some remnants we see in India, right? Actually now I think they're even hired, but actually there's a class of people, like in marriages, right? They come and they play. Even traditionally also we'll see. Only traditionally they had these traditional musical instruments I have seen in South India. They have Shehnai, they have these dholaks and different musical instruments, and they have a certain, certain melodies that they play for different occasions. Simply by hearing that melody, you understand, acha, this is the festivity that is going on, like that. So that's a class of people. You just have to go and call them, and they will come and they will play, and they get some remuneration exchange. They get some food, some clothing, like that. So everything was based on land distribution. So now Srila Prabhupada is coming to the next topic, land distribution. So what was the first topic we covered? uh, Testing the success of one's occupation. Okay. Now next we are coming to government grants land to the citizens. That's the next topic we are reading. So how Srila Prabhupada covered this? The success of everyone's occupation. So there are various classes. There is washerman, there is barber, right? Sweeper class, everyone is there. That we didn't come to it yet, but from Bhagavatam we understand Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. That means Atapumbir Dvijashreshta Varnasrama Vibhagashaha Swanushtitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. So by your services, by your occupational duties, if Hari is satisfied, that means you offer the results of your work to Lord Vishnu. That is the form of worshipping the Lord with your occupational duty. So we saw some examples here of flowers, same with grains, and the priests, right? So of course, by your occupational duty, priesthood is Brahmana's duty. So by your occupational duty, the result of that, if you're offering to the Lord, then that is the perfection of your duty. When the Lord is satisfied, Hari Toshanam, Hari is satisfied, then that is the perfection, samsiddhi, of your Varnashrama duties. So what is the success of your duty? That's the first part, right? Testing the success of one's occupation. Then we came to government grants land. So we are seeing how government grants land means. We are seeing here. So we saw how land is given by the temple. So first we saw how the king is giving land to the Kshatriyas. Yes. And in exchange for their services. Yes. So whenever there is fight, the Kshatriyas have to come to fight. And the government gives them land for free. And we also saw how the temple gives land. Government is giving land, or the temple is giving land to the florist. You grow flowers and you have to give flowers to the temple. This is how government is distributing land. Everything was based on land distribution. That was the system. And tax was paid to the government, not by assessment. Tax is paid to the government, not by assessment. Whatever your land production is there, you give to the government 1/4. That's all. If you have produced 1,000 mound grain, you have to give to the government 250 mounds. And if you have produced 100, then you give 25. That's all. So, and if you don't produce anything on your land because there was a famine that year or there were no rains, then what do? You don't owe anything to the government. If you don't produce, what you will give? If you produce, if you get a bumper crop, then you pay more to the government. If you get less, then you pay less. So you are not deprived of anything there because of paying taxes. It's not like you starve or die, we don't care, you have to pay our taxes. It's not like that. Depending on how much you earn, that much you pay. So there is no question of harassment. Whatever is the production is there, whatever production is there, that much, 1/4 of that you have to pay. So this profession is accepted from Vedic time. different kinds of men engaged in different kinds of activities. Maybe a florist, maybe a potter, maybe a cobbler, maybe anything, grain producer, so many. Society requires so many things. So according to Vedic system, there is a class, and Bhagavat says that you are engaged in your occupational duty. So whether you are getting success by such occupational duty, yes, that was the first section, right? Are you getting how to test whether you are getting success from your occupational duty, whatever? So first of all, there is a class for occupation. It's not like it is open to everyone like we have today, right? Anyone can become a lawyer, anyone can become a software engineer, anyone can become a doctor, and you can change your profession at any time. It's not like that. It's not like that. Uh, and also, it is not that the class is not based on birth. Also, that we have to that also will come. We will discuss that also. Class is not based on birth. Uh, and it's not that you keep changing. Oh, now I feel, now I'm very good at growing flowers, so now I'm a florist. And after some days, actually, I'm very good at music. Now I'll become a musician. That will become my profession. Or after some time, no, no, actually, I'm doing better in a Vaishya job, so I'll do something else. No, it's not like that. That is why there is training. Each person is trained. And how the training is given? After identifying your swabhava. What is your swabhava is identified, and based on your swabhava, training is given. Once the training is given, now you have to live according to that only. There is no changing. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitaha. Right? Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. It's better to, uh, you know, even meet with destruction in the course of performing your own duty than to accept another's duty. So there's no question of changing duties. You have to stick to your duty. That we can discuss. We already discussed in Bhagavad Gita, but if there's questions, we can discuss that also. Okay. So let's continue. What is the success of your occupational duty? Srila Prabhupada is, himself asking that question. You are engaged in your occupational duty. So whether you are getting success by such occupational duty, the Vedic system does not condemn anyone. You are a potter? Oh, you are lower. No, you are as good as a priest because you're doing your duty. That's all right. The Vedic system never condemns. So, what we see as the caste system, right, and the outcasts, untouchables, and all these things, this has come, this is the corrupt form of caste system. This is not the Vedic system. In the Vedic system, everyone is needed for the proper function of society. If the society is like a body, the body needs hands, the body needs legs, right? You need your heart, you need everything, your stomach, your head, every organ of the body, every limb of the body has a particular service to offer, and all services are required for the body. So there's no question of looking down upon or rejecting one limb. It's not like that. But this happened, the corrupt system, because of the corrupt system, some people, they took monopoly, like they are the chosen ones, and they exploited the others, considering them to be lower. But in reality, it is not like that. See what is said here? You are as good as a priest because you are doing your duty. Now, how is your duty assigned? Your duty is assigned based on your nature, based on your swabhava. Who will recognize your swabhava? That is why there is a guru, right? There is a gurukula. So now how can we introduce this system? That's the big question always devotees ask. So now where? Now what do we know? What is our system? That's why Srila Prabhupada said we need Varnasrama colleges. That's where we have to start. When there is a Varnashrama college, there will be professors in that college, teachers, right? They are trained to identify what is the Varna of this person based on that person's Swabhava, and then give training accordingly, like that. But here the point is no profession is condemned, right? Regardless of whether you're a florist or a priest or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya, not like in today's world. If you're a doctor, then you're very respectable. And if you're doing some other work, oh, that's not a good work. No, it's not like that. As long as, because why it is not like that? The whole purpose of your doing your particular karma is to come, is to get self-realization. The purpose of karma is to get self-realization. The purpose of karma is not to maintain your livelihood or even, to get profits. That is not the purpose. Even if it is to get your livelihood, this verse from Bhagavatam says this. Mm, What's that verse? Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. And it is not meant for karma. The last line says, Narthorthaya karma bihi. Like that. That means, Kamasya nendriya priti. Kama means what? Kama means we say lust, right? So kama means desire, like the senses wanting sense objects. That is kama. Okay. So kama, or you can say kama means you can say desire. Okay, kama is desire. So the desire should not be kamasya na indriya priti. Right? Your desire should not be indriya priti to satisfy the senses. Kamasya nendriya priti, na indriya priti. Then what should be the purpose then? What should the purpose of kama? That means you're giving, kama means you're giving sense objects to the senses. You're giving sense objects to the senses. But the purpose of providing sense objects to the, for example, you're putting food in your mouth. Okay, it's easy to understand. So when you put food in your mouth, what should be the purpose of putting food in your mouth? Oh, it's nice and tasty. I like this food. I like that food. And I want to try more and more different recipes because I want to get all different types of tastes. Is that the purpose of giving the sense object to the sense? No. Kamasya nendriya priti. The purpose of giving sense objects to the senses is not for indriya tripti, is not for sense gratification. Then why we are giving? Labho jiveta yavata. The purpose of this providing sense objects to senses, the benefit of that is jiveta yavata. As much as you need to keep body and soul together, that much. Give only that much sense objects to the senses as much as is required to keep the body and soul together, or in other words, just so that you keep living in this body. So now you take it from all different angles. I just gave example of food, how much money you earn, or actually, if you go to the previous verse, what's that verse? Dharmasya. Uh, so the purpose of performing dharma, okay, dharma, is not to get artha. Generally, we understand dharma, artha, kama, moksha, right? So dharma is not meant, you're not doing, dharma means work, whatever occupational duty you're doing. The purpose of doing that should not be to earn wealth. How many people will accept this today? How many people will accept it? That if you're working, the first thing you will see is how much salary are they offering me? What benefits are they offering me? Isn't it? If they give good benefits, if they give me, enough, yeah, benefits includes everything. Your medical, how much vacation you get and all other things, and how much salary they are paying you. These are the things you see before you go for a job. But Bhagavatam is saying dharma should not, dharma means your duty, occupational duty. Dharma should not be done for the sake of artha. Artha means wealth. Narthorthayopakalpate. So, na artha, narthorthayopakalpate. So, dharma should not be done for getting artha. But even if you're not working for the sake of artha, still, when you do dharma, artha will come. Any dharma, when you do some form of artha, remuneration will come. It can come in the form of money, it can come in the form of some skill, or it can come in the form of following, right? Fame, name, recognition. So many ways. You'll get some artha. When you do dharma, artha will come. But you should not be doing dharma for the sake of artha, first thing. Then what should I do with the artha that comes automatically? That artha which comes, you should not engage that artha for kama, for lust, for sense gratification. Don't use it for sense gratification. I am not asking for wealth. It's like sometimes you just get inheritance, for example. You didn't expect it, it just came. Or, we don't engage in lottery tickets, but I'm just giving an example. You just get wealth all of a sudden. Now, because I didn't work for it, I didn't ask for it, but it just came. So I'm just, I didn't cheat anyone. I got it, so I'm going to use it. Can we say that? Bhagavatam says no. When you work, when you do dharma, automatically artha will come. That artha should not be used for sense gratification. Then the next verse is saying, what I quoted, Kamasya Nendriya Pritir. Then your desire in life should not be sense gratification. The artha that you have, that should not be engaged in sense gratification. Then kama, whatever you're providing, that sense object that you're providing to the body, the purpose of that should not be sense gratification. Rather, it should be simply your survival, sustenance. Labho jiveta yavata. As much as you need to live, that much only you should accept. Then next question is, why should I live? Right? Why should I live? Jivasya tattva jigyasa. The only purpose of living, I should not be living because, oh, my family is dependent on me, my followers are dependent on me, or the community, the country is dependent on me. If I'm not there, things are not going to function, right? If I don't do anything, how all these people will survive? Is that why you're living? No. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. The only purpose you should be living is tattva jigyasa, to inquire about the absolute truth. Who is the absolute truth? That's the very first verse also, right? Of the Vedanta Sutras, and that is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Right? Now is the time to inquire about the absolute truth. Now means after coming to this human form of life. Before that, we were not able to inquire. So, the purpose of living is to inquire about the absolute truth. It should not be, but the purpose of living is not to do karma. Complete the cycle. You may think the purpose of living is to do karma. I am living so that I'll do my particular dharma. I am a Brahmana. I'll do my duty. That's why I'm living, to do my duty. I'm a Kshatriya, right? I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a husband. I'm a father. So I'm living to do my duty. No. The purpose of life is not karma. The purpose of life is tattva jigyasa. So you see how they're linked. You do dharma. The purpose of dharma should not be artha, but still we do dharma, right? Why we do dharma? We do dharma because we still have that vasana. Vasana means we have dharma or karma. We have this taste for doing karma. That's why we keep doing karma. So that will go away when we get full Shraddha. Then the tendency, the desire to do karma will go away when we get Shraddha in Krishna consciousness. Anyway, let's get back to this reading here. Why I came here is uh, about duty, right? So you are as good as a priest because you are doing your duty. That's all right. Never condemns. So whatever duty you do, the purpose of duty, why I was explaining to you, why it does not matter what work you do, whether you do a potter's job or you do a king's job or you do a priest's job, why it does not matter. What is important is that you're doing dharma, and that dharma is assigned to you based on your swabhava. And the purpose of dharma is, as I explained to you just now, ultimately self-realization. Not just self-realization, God realization. First, understand yourself. You're not this body, you're a spirit soul. And then further on, you have to progress and realize the absolute truth. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. Tattva means truth. Tattva jigyasa. That's why you're living. And that's why you should be doing your dharma. Dharma should not be done for artha, and artha should not be used for sense gratification. So then artha can come in the form of name, fame, it can come in the form of money, respect. So therefore, we keep switching jobs now. Oh, I'm here now, I want to be here because that's a more respectable job that fetches me more money, and everyone will look up to me now. I will be the leader, I will be the head. No, that's still material platform. What is the purpose of doing your dharma? Ultimately to come to self-realization and even further realizing the absolute truth, the Supreme Lord. That's the purpose of doing dharma. Then does it matter what dharma you do? Whether even if you're a potter, you can realize yourself by doing your particular dharma properly. And if you are a brahmana also, you can realize the Lord if you're doing a particular dharma. And on the contrary, being a brahmana, if you're not acting in the mode of goodness, being a brahmana, you're doing brahmana's duties in the mode of passion and ignorance, will you get God realization? Will you get self realization first? No, you won't get. You will be in that bodily identification only, even if you're doing the brahmana's job or even if you're a king. Now we saw that. That's why, why how this corrupt caste system came into picture, because they were not acting in the mode of goodness. Now let's continue reading. This is development of later age when the so-called Brahmanas became, I mean to say, treacherous. Actually, Vedic system is saying it does not matter. That is why they were satisfied. Otherwise, why will they accept? Tell me. If the fact is that the Shudras are very lowly, then they cannot get perfection. Only when you become a Brahmana, then you'll get perfection. If that was a fact, why will a Shudra be faithful to his duty? You tell me. He will try, like in today's world, everyone is trying, right? Wherever there is more money, then everyone goes to that particular profession. Now I don't know what's going on in India, but when I was, a student, every parent wanted their children to become either doctor or engineer. They will literally push them, prepare them from childhood. Every year, so many, hundreds of thousands of students appear for the entrance exam for medical and engineering colleges. Why? Because that's a prestigious thing. Everyone else, they don't think they're so important. This is material platform. So then everyone is trying for that only. Everyone is trying for that. Even if they fail year after year after year, some people they try for 5 years also, just sitting at home preparing, studying, and again they'll go trying to get into that particular college so that you can become a doctor or an engineer like that. But that's not Vedic system. No, that's not Vedic system. Vedic system is you do your duty and you'll get the highest perfection by you doing your duty. And that's why they were satisfied. They didn't feel the need to change their profession, to change, from Sudra to Brahmana or to Kshatriya. No, they never felt that need. But this happened later on. Hmm. Sakale neha mahata yogo nashtaha parantapa, Krishna says. This is how it works. With the passage of time, things start dwindling. The knowledge as it is becomes lost. And once again, the Lord comes to, or he sends his, associate to once again re-establish Dharma. So what happened was this is development of later age when the so-called Brahmanas became, I mean to say, treacherous. They began to condemn so-called lower class. So-called, it's not actually lower class, so-called. They termed it like this. You are outcast, you are lower class. They began to condemn so-called lower class. There was disruption, this whole social system. But in the beginning, it was not the original, when you say Sanatan Dharma, Vedic Dharma, there was nothing like that. This is lower and this is higher. Because everyone's goal is clear. The goal of Varnashram Dharma is pure devotional service. And regardless of who you are, everyone can come to pure devotional service. Then what is the need to change your profession? So they have got respectable terms, just like a Brahmana is addressed as Pandit Maharaj. So this is like later on, right? When the caste system, the perverted or corrupt caste system came. Now, when someone has this title, oh, this is Pandit ji, this is Brahman, so respectable person. Oh, Thakur ji, that means a Kshatriya, very respectable person. And someone is like a, Shudra type of potter or something. Oh, low class, he's a potter, he's a cobbler, right? This happened later on. And then they got these respectable terms, just like a Brahmana is addressed as Pandit Maharaj, a Kshatriya is addressed Thakur Sahib, Thakur, and a merchant is addressed Seth Ji, and the laborer class addressed as Chaudhary means leader. In this way, everyone has got respectable position. Why? Acha, acha, sorry. This is not later. Then only. Then only. So you would identify a person, and what Srila Prabhupada is saying here is, regardless of what your profession is, everyone is respected for that. You get a title, and with that title, you are respected for the job that you're doing. If you're a Brahmana, Panditji. If you're a Kshatriya, Thakur. If you're a Shudra, Chaudhary. He is also respected for his job, and he is identified by his work that he's doing. That's why we have surnames. Surnames will tell us about what type of work we do. In this way, everyone has got respectable position. Why? Because the test of their success was one, Vishnu, success. Swakarmana tam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. Bhagavad Gita 1846. Swakarmana tam abhyarchya. Tam means Krishna, Lord Vishnu. Swakarmana means by your own karma, swadharma. That means the work which is assigned to you, either Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. By your work, Tam, Lord Vishnu, Abhyarchya, you worship him with your work. By that, Siddhim Vindati, you will get perfection. Manavaha, human beings will get perfection by worshipping Lord Vishnu with your particular work. How do you worship the Supreme Lord with your work? Whatever result you get, you give that all to Lord Vishnu. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Whatever your occupation may be, that doesn't matter. But if you worship the Supreme Lord by your occupation, then you are successful. The florist supplies flower to the temple, the potter supplies pots to the temple, the priest chants mantra in the temple, the Kshatriyas, they protect the temple. He supplies the expenditure of the temple. That's all. This is the plan for a Varnashram society. What we are talking about, Daiva Varnashram society will have a temple in the center. And there will be Grihasthas living all around. The Grihasthas will own their property. This property, this community belongs to the, actually to the, they will own it. And all the Grihasthas together, they will have a temple of Lord Vishnu in the center. And some Grihasthas will be potters, some Grihasthas will be Kshatriyas, some will be priests, some will be producing agriculture, right? Some will be teachers, there will be a Gurukul, some will be doctors, all according to Vedic system. And the goal is everyone, the perfection of your occupation, whether you're a potter, whether you're a garland maker, whether you're and that job you will get based on your natural inclination, your swabhava. And you'll be very happy doing that service because that's your nature. And the perfection of your work is when the result of that is offered to the Lord. It's meant for the pleasure of the Lord. And in this way, your earning of your livelihood also becomes devotional service. Directly. It's being offered to the Lord directly. Whatever your occupation may be, that doesn't matter. If you worship the Supreme Lord by your occupation, then you are successful. Now you may say, but what about the work that we are doing now? We can give that also to Krishna, isn't it? The jobs that we are doing now, that can also be given to Krishna. But the thing is, if you see the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is specifically mentioning these four, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and the qualities and the types of work that a person with that swabhava should do. Actually, if you see, all jobs that we are doing are Shudras jobs now. And even that is, it is filled with so much sin. Directly, you may not be involved. You may think that I am not directly involved in sin, but that establishment is, you know, it is involving the killing of so many cows and so many things. You will be implicated. We will be implicated if we take work from that. Then what will happen? It will put us in the mode of passion and ignorance. Hmm. Then when we are in the mode of passion and ignorance, then the same effect will not come. Of course, you can offer your result to the Lord. You can still offer your result to the Lord. Even this work also can be offered. But what is your consciousness when you're offering? That is very important, because after all, it is Krishna consciousness, right? When we are offering it to the Lord, what is my consciousness? If I'm thinking that um, there is no Varnashram system, it's not possible now, and this is how the world is working, and I will do this job, and this is my income, and I'll offer it to Krishna, and this is as good as any other work. Whether I do Brahmana's work, Kshatriya work, Vaishya work, or this work, it's the same thing. I'll just offer it to the Lord. Now, is our goal pure devotional service? Yes. So, if my goal is pure devotional service, what are the symptoms of pure devotional service? For you to do pure devotional service, uh, the qualification is Shraddha. The symptom of Shraddha is Sharanagati, surrender. What is surrender? Surrender is, there are 6 limbs of surrender. First one is Anukulyasya Sankalpam, second is Pratikulyasya Varjanam. Anukulyasya Sankalpam means doing those things which are dear to Krishna, which Krishna likes. Pratikulyasya Varjanam means giving up those things which Krishna does not like. How do you know what Krishna likes, what Krishna does not like? From Shastra. I cannot speculate. I should not. Or two people will come sit together and they will decide, according to today's circumstance, according to the world today, this is not possible what is said in Shastra. So we will have to do this. If like that, if you decide, no, you have to take from Shastra only, and that also, that will come through the Acharya who can give that portion of Shastra which is possible in the present circumstance, that will already be decided by the Acharya and they will give. And once they give it, then you have to just follow that much. Or local Brahmana, right? Local Brahmana. When you have a community, the local Brahmanas who are well versed, right? Shabde Pare. Shabde Pare means they are well versed with what is given in Shastra, and also they are realized in that knowledge, right? So a Vaishnava can give what can be followed, how much should be followed in the present time, and when things improve, how to increase what all we follow. But knowingly, willingly, in my heart, if I'm accepting that it is not possible, what is said in Shastra, it's not possible, I won't do that, it's fine. That means I'm not satisfying those two conditions of Anukulyasya Sankalpam, Pratikulyasya Varjanam. Willingly, if I am, so for there is no question of surrender in the first place, and willingly I am doing things which are not dear to Krishna, then what will happen? I am rejecting things which Krishna is asking us to do. Very clearly Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, if we read, we will see, we've been reading all these days what you should do, what is good, all 6 chapters actually, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Again and again, Krishna is stressing mode of goodness, mode of goodness, mode of goodness. Because when you work in mode of goodness, that's when your spiritual realization will come. If you're working in the modes of passion and ignorance, it is working against spiritual realization. So then, what will happen is my heart will become very hard, hard, Hard. My heart will become hard. Willingly, because it's an offense. Knowingly, if unknowingly I didn't know, so I'm doing something, I can be forgiven, because that is, there is no wickedness in the heart. But I know this is not to be done, and in spite of that, I do it. What will happen? Just like, in Paramatma, when you are small, young children, little, you feel fear in your heart because you hear the voice of Paramatma when you do something wrong. But if you ignore that voice one time, two times, three times, after that, Paramatma will stop speaking. Your heart will become hard. That sensitivity will go away. That softness will go away. And when that softness goes away, you won't progress in bhakti. For bhakti to progress, that softness of the heart is important. So, willingly, knowingly, if we reject the Lord's instructions, we become very hard hearted, then we won't be progressing in bhakti. That's the thing. But at the same time, it is a fact. It is a fact that we don't have any, how will I pay my bills? What will I eat if I don't work? That's a real problem now. Yes. Then I must be feeling very, very helpless, guilty, praying in front of Krishna. Please help me, get me out of this situation so that I can lead a life which is according to your instructions. Pray to Krishna and look for an opportunity where that can be done, right? So, in this way, when this awareness comes, when devotees come together, then with the help of the Lord, things will start manifesting. Things will start manifesting. We can have our own devotee communities where we are going to live the way how Srila Prabhupada is saying here. So let's just read a little bit more. We have some more minutes. And if at any time, if you want me to stop and you want some discussion, or you can just raise your hand, okay? If nobody raises hands, then I'll just keep reading. Okay. Yes. The potter supplies pots to the temple, the priest supplies, chants mantras in the temple, the kshatriyas protect the temple. He supplies the expenditure of the temple, the kshatriya, because he collects taxes, right? So kshatriya supplies expenditures of the temple. Because the land belongs to the kshatriya, they're royal class. Because they occupy land, so they have got the obligation to give protection to the country. Fight. They shall fight. And here at the present moment, the arrangement is that you have no land. You are landless, but you are called to fight. Why there is a problem in draft board? When there is a war, they have to draft. Why people are trying to avoid going for a fight? Because first of all, they're not kshatriyas. They don't have that nature to fight. And second of all, even if you are a kshatriya, you're not taken care of, right? Kshatriya means he should have his own land. There is no land. Nobody has any land. Who has land here? Land means where you produce. So here at the present moment, the arrangement is that you have no land, you are landless, but you are called to fight. Why? This system is condemned system. The Kshatriyas, they are royal class. They possessed land, so they had obligation to protect the country. Yes? So this is their land, and then it's an obligation, just like if you are the father of the family. Now, yes, your father, so father must be respected, honored. Why? Because he's maintaining the family, he's the head of the family. Everyone will respect him, and in return, he's also protecting them. If everyone is respecting the father and dependent on him, it is his responsibility to protect them also, isn't it? That's how. So Kshatriya is like that. It is his land, and then that means they pay him taxes, right? He doesn't do any work. Kshatriya doesn't do any work as such to earn his livelihood. He has the land, and people work there, and he gives them protection, and they pay him taxes. So he gets his wealth, his food, everything he gets, because everyone is giving him taxes. Why they're giving him taxes? Because he's protecting them, like that. So when there is no land and you call them to fight, they don't want to come. This system is condemned. The Kshatriyas are royal class, they possess land, so they had obligation to protect the country. Therefore, they were fighting. How nice arrangement. Those who are occupying administration of the country, they should fight. But they're sitting very nicely in their armchair and calling somebody. go fight and be killed, right? The big people in big positions, they're sitting back in their chairs and sending the soldiers to fight and get killed on the battlefield. This system is not scientific system. Therefore, the caste system is very nice. They have now been condemned. Not condemned, but they want to revise it. But this is a very scientific system. Caste system is a very scientific system. Why? Because it is created by Krishna. Simple. Why is caste system very scientific? Because it's created by Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha. I have created the four divisions of caste. It is not exactly caste, section, varna, right? Because we saw in the introduction or before introduction, caste means generally, if you translate it into Hindi or Sanskrit, you'll say jati. Varna is not exactly jati because you also have jati. You can say sparrow jati, pigeon jati, dog jati, cat jati. Varna doesn't mean just jati, right? Varna means Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. That's why Srila Prabhupada is saying it's not exactly caste. It's a section, Varna. Krishna is saying, I have created these four divisions, four sections. How can you stop? Right? It is natural. This is there in everyone. Your particular Varna is already there. That Varna is based on your Swabhava. So, Bhagavat recommends, Suta Goswami is addressing, Ataha Pumbir Dvija Shrestha Varnashrama Vibhagashaha. This is first canto, second chapter, text 13. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation. The highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste divisions and orders of life is to please the personality of Godhead. Right? What is the perfection? Highest perfection of your job that you're doing, the highest perfection of the work that you're doing, when the Lord is pleased by that work, when you are serving the Lord and satisfying the Lord with your work. How can you serve the Lord and satisfy the Lord with your work? By the results of that work. Whatever result you get, you give it all to the Lord and serve Him nicely, gorgeously with the results of your work. Then that work is uh, perfect. Such work is perfect. Now, if your work is involving so many sinful activities and you want to please the Lord with that, actually, there's so much discussion here. Offering of work also, there is two types. Offering of work because of love and offering of work because of uh, detachment. There's two types. We had discussed this once in Chaitanya Charitamrita class about giving the example of, that fan, that you have an old fan in your house. It's been sitting there for decades and you don't have any use for it. You have a new one in your house and that is simply taking space. You want to get rid of it. So in order to get rid of it, what do? Instead of throwing in the dumpster, you think I'll go and give it in the brahmachari ashram. Someone will use it, right? Why just throw it in trash? I'll just give it in the ashram. Somebody can use it. So you go and you give it. Now that is one type of giving. Another type of giving is you see, oh, it is summertime and it is so hot. Uh, the brahmacharis must be really, very uncomfortable because of this heat. Let me buy a nice fan for them. And you go, you shop for a good fan, right? The best one with all the features, right? Which is very powerful, which is long lasting, durable. And you go and you give it to the brahmachari with great love. That, Prabhuji, I want to offer this to you. Is there a difference or not? How you are offering? One offering is with love, the other offering is with detachment. So karma, you can offer karma to the Lord. In that also there is quality. One is Prinana Rupi, the other one is Tyaga Rupi. Prinana Rupi means you're offering with love. Tyaga Rupi means you're giving out of detachment. If I keep it, it's going to bind me. I work, and if I take the result of my work, it's going to bind me to this material world. I have to come back again Because whatever I'm enjoying, I have to pay back. To pay back again, I have to take birth. This is called the vicious cycle of karma. You enjoy and you take birth again to pay. And again you come back, you come back. This is the vicious cycle. There's no getting out of this cycle of karma unless you take to the spiritual path. So therefore, people want to get rid of this karma because it is binding me. And the way to get rid of this karma is offer it to the Lord. Like giving your old fan in Brahmachari ashram, like that. So such people, they offer karma to the Lord. Yes, Mataji. Aditi Lata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, so we are probably that's the reason we are always in that field only. I mean, not in that way which you give the example, not in that category, but we are always taught that give your results to Krishna, otherwise you will be tied. So we are given that path only, shown that path only, so that we can develop the other thing, the detachment for love of Krishna, renouncing, right? Because we come in that category. I mean, I always think that, oh, okay, yes, that's what we are taught, because we don't have that natural love for Krishna, probably. Am I right?
No, go ahead and then I will speak after you finish. Let me understand. That's all?
Okay, so yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay. Let me show you. I don't know if you saw this diagram before. I've been sharing this quite often in the recent classes, but let me share it with you. That will make it clear. Have you seen this before, Mataji, Aditi Lata Mataji? This diagram?
No, Mataji.
Okay. So look at this diagram. This is, you are seeing my cursor, right? This is a karmi.
Yes.
Karmi means he will work and he wants the result and he'll take the result and he will enjoy it. And by enjoying it, he's bound. Again and again, he'll have to take birth. This is karmi. So
Yes.
most people in material existence, and actually below this karmi will be another area called vikarmi. Karmi means he will be doing only that work which is prescribed in the shastras. So Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Karma. So if he's doing anything other than what is prescribed, he'll be below this, like vikarmi. So let's say he's a karmi. The only turning point for this karmi is when he gets the association of a sadhu. Sadhu can be on the left side, he can be a Jnani sadhu. On the right side, he can get a devotee sadhu. Okay, when he gets an association of a sadhu, that's when his life will change. How it will change? Let us say he goes this way, he gets a Jnani's association. Now the Jnani will tell this Karmi, my dear friend, you're working so hard and you're getting the result, and that result is binding you again and again. The fact is, you're not this body or a spirit soul. One day you're going to die, and after you die, everything that you earned, you have to leave behind. And based on the work that you did, you have to take birth again. Again, you will die. So don't do this karma. This karma is simply, no, that means don't do karma for the sake of the result. If you are taking the result, that result is going, like exactly like you said, it's going to bind you. So then this Jnani will say you should give away your result. If you hold on to the result, that will be the cause of your bondage. So with the guidance of this Jnani, now this karmi enters this area. So this is called NKY, means Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay, so this is what Krishna explains in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Nishkama Karma Yoga. So here, he won't tell him to stop work right away. That also we read in the 3rd chapter. Uh, an intelligent person should not ask a karmi to stop work immediately. No, he should engage him in all types of work, but the result of that work you offer to the Lord. Why? The reason is you're offering it to the Lord. If you don't offer it to the Lord, it's going to bind you. Now, if now if you meet a devotee sadhu. So that's why it depends what is your motivation. What is your motivation in offering depends on the association of sadhu that you get, because that sadhu will guide you accordingly. So let's say this karmi has come in association with a devotee sadhu on the right side. DVD means Daiva Varnashram Dharma. NKY means Nishkama Karma. This is DVD means Daiva Varnashram. So then this devotee will tell him, my dear friend, you are actually, of course, you're a spirit soul. Then, but who is the spirit soul? Spirit soul is a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. The position of the living entity is to render, constitutional position is to render devotional service to the Supreme Lord. If you try to take all that karma, the result of your karma, first of all, you're being selfish. Everything belongs to the Lord. He is the enjoyer. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shanti mrichati. Right? You will become very, very peaceful when you recognize that Krishna, everything is coming from Krishna. Everything belongs to the Lord. So you should offer everything to the Lord, and he's so kind. After taking, he will give it back to you. When you offer bhoga to Lord, it's not like he'll eat everything. He will give it back to you. But when you get the result of what you offer to the Lord, that result, first of all, you will get the result even normally without offering to the Lord. If you do some work, you may or may not get the good result. Sometimes it can fail. Sometimes you can get. But when you offer to the Lord, certainly you will get result. You will get. And on top of that, that result will not bind you. So you must offer it to the Lord. Huh? Actually, that is done here also. Same. That is also not Prinana Rupi, Tyaga Rupi only. Because after all, you want the result. For that he's doing. But here he will say that everything belongs to the Lord. He is the master, right? And you should offer it to him with love. Then this work is not going to bind you. Not only that, but by doing this type of work for the satisfaction of the Lord, you will develop your love for the Lord. So here, offering which is done here, based on the association you get, you will offer all your karma to the Lord in order to please the Lord. So you will offer, just like you buy some flowers and you take to the temple, you will, you will certainly you will have, devotees means you want to offer some flowers to the Lord, right? And when you make garlands for the Lord, Krishna looks so beautiful. You feel so satisfied. Oh, Krishna, so, Krishna has accepted my services, right? So like that, but karma, that is devotional service. Making garland offering to the Lord is direct devotional service. But even karma, the work that I do, and that money, with that money, if I just engage all that money in the Lord's service, because I want to please the Lord, that will be the motivation here. How you will get that motivation? By the association of a devotee. When you get the association of a devotee, that devotee will guide you. Oh, like this you should offer. And then, but initially, as you said, we may not have that automatically. Why? Because for so many lifetimes, we are used to taking the result, right? We are coming from the background of being a karmi, life after life after life. We are work because fruitive activity. Fruitive activity means I will work when I get the result. So with this mentality, when I'm coming, then sometimes I may not be able to directly do it with that motivation. Then you can take help from with the help of jnana here. Jnana is what? You are not this body, you're a spirit soul, right? And this karma is going to bind you, so get rid of this karma. So you can take help of this jnana in the initial stages. Rupa Goswami also says in the initial stages one may take help from jnana just to get into bhakti. So therefore you will see even Srila Prabhupada also preaches like that sometimes, right? That this work will bind you, so so that get rid of this work, like that. That is jnana anga. This path, the left side, is jnana marga. Actually, the goal of jnana is to go and merge into Brahman. The right side is shuddha bhakti. The goal of shuddha bhakti is go back to actually to get Krishna prema. When you get Krishna prema, then you get direct Bhagavad Sakshatkar. So this is the right side. But in the right side also, in the initial stages, sometimes it's not mandatory that everyone has to go this way only, everyone has to take help from jnana, but in some cases we can use. It's like taking a stepping stone, right? When you have to cross a small creek, sometimes you keep a stone in between, take one step on the stone and then you cross. That will help. So like that you can take help from jnana angas, limbs of jnana, in the initial stages, at the end, at the entry door, you can take help there just to get into bhakti. But once you enter here into Shuddha Bhakti, there's no question of using any more limbs of jnana. That is done directly, simply to please the Supreme Lord. Was that helpful, Aditi Lata Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. But I was thinking that getting into Shuddha Bhakti or getting a bhakti for Krishna, the pure bhakti of Krishna, we need Krishna's this thing, right? Will. Krishna has to give us that benediction that, okay, you are allowed to do that. Otherwise, we won't experience that Shuddha Bhakti, right? So that's why to do that, that's why we are supposed to do sadhana bhakti and to develop that bhakti for Krishna slowly, slowly. So that's why I was wondering that aren't we all in this category of the
DVD.
jnana? Not,
No,
yes,
no. No, this is jnana. No, we are not, all are not in jnana path. I'll tell you, there is some correction in what you said. You're saying with the help of Krishna only, or by the mercy of Krishna only, we'll be able to enter into Shuddha Bhakti. This is still not Shuddha Bhakti, Mataji. We are all here only, actually. We are here
mm,
only. We are not in Shuddha Bhakti. And to get here also, actually, to get here, what you need is not mercy of Krishna. You need mercy of a devotee.
for
You need
both
mercy
we
of.
need mercy of devotee. For both we need mercy of devotee, no?
No. Here you need mercy of devotee. Then only you start your sadhana. Otherwise, you don't even know what is bhakti, what is Shuddha Bhakti. You won't understand. You won't even have any clue that I'm supposed to do devotional service to the Lord. That we will get by the mercy of a devotee. It can be in this life or previous life. Okay? But
Mm.
the beginning is by the mercy of a Shuddha Bhakti only, you will start. If you have never ever in past lives also, you've never ever come in contact with bhakti, then in this life, the very first time you met a devotee and that devotee gave you Krishna consciousness. Or it is possible you already started in the past life, you got that mercy of a pure devotee in the past life, you started, but then you didn't complete the process and maybe committed some offenses because of which when we commit offenses, we go away from bhakti also, from devotees association. And then,
Mm.
you give up your body and you take birth again. It seems like you just took birth in a non-devotee atmosphere and again you came in touch with someone, you came into devotional service, it appears. And in some cases, even without any association, I took to Krishna consciousness. It may seem like that. But as soon as you see someone has bhakti, you should understand that means he got some association, some mercy, kripa, mercy of a devotee. So that, I must do it to please the Lord. Where you will get that from? From the mercy of a pure devotee. Now, what you said, with the mercy of Krishna, we will get Shuddha Bhakti. So, see, Shuddha Bhakti, according to Nectar of Devotion, there are three stages. There is Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. So, this whole thing is Shuddha Bhakti. Okay? Initially,
Mm.
so Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, all this is Sadhana Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti is also Shuddha Bhakti. Then next here is Bhava Bhakti. Bhava Bhakti means ecstatic devotional service. That is also Shuddha Bhakti. And ultimately Prema Bhakti, this is also Shuddha Bhakti. This whole thing is Shuddha Bhakti. Now, to get into Shuddha Bhakti, what do we need? This is the entry door, Dridha Shraddha. You need Dridha Shraddha to get into Shuddha Bhakti. To start Shuddha Bhakti, you need Dridha Shraddha. How can we get Dridha Shraddha? Now, when we are here in this area, we will have association of devotees. That is the whole idea of Varnasrama community. Daiva Varnashrama community means you're living in the association of devotees. But because you didn't get Dridha Shraddha, that means you still have some taste to do karma. You still identify yourself with this body, right? And also, you may also have some shraddha towards karma. That means unless I do karma, I cannot do bhakti. I have to do karma, then only I can do bhakti. Like this. So because of these things, I don't have Dhrida Shraddha yet, and I'm still here. But while here, the people who are here, their goal is come to Krishna Prema. But they don't have the qualification of Dhrida Shraddha to start Shuddha Bhakti yet. So they're here. So what should they be doing while they're here? According to Shraddha, whatever Shraddha we have, that much bhajan we will be doing. I have Shraddha to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra for 2 hours a day. So with that Shraddha, I will do some bhajan. And the remaining time, what should I do when I'm not doing direct devotional service, either making garlands or chanting Hare Krishna or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam? When I'm not doing these things, the remaining time I'll be doing karma. But the karma that I'm doing, if I'm doing vikarma, that is putting me in the mode of passion and ignorance, and that passion and ignorance will pull me away from even the little sadhana that I'm doing. It will not allow me to do that sadhana. Whereas if I do that karma in the mode of goodness, then that goodness will, complement the bhajan that I'm doing. Together, it will actually support it. How? When you're in the mode of goodness and you're hearing Bhagavatam, you will understand the meaning of the Bhagavatam as it is. What is being said, I will be able to grasp the meaning exactly. And the definition of Dhrida Shraddha is Shastrartha Vishwasa. That means you believe in the conclusion of Shastra. What Shastra is saying, you become convinced about that. So when you are in the mode of goodness, you are able to take the message of Shastra as it is. You will be very soon, very quickly, you will be able to come to you'll get convinced about the conclusion of Shastra and you'll enter into Shuddha Bhakti. So here your question was, I will be able to enter into Shuddha Bhakti because of Krishna's mercy. Without Krishna's mercy, how I'll enter into Shuddha Bhakti? You will enter into Shuddha Bhakti when you have Dhrida Shraddha. Dhrida Shraddha means conviction in the conclusion of Shastra. That conviction will come by hearing from pure devotees again and again Shastras. When you hear Shastras, Shastra means Bhakti Shastra, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, like this. When you hear again and again, now what will happen when I hear? I will get so many doubts in my heart, right? When you hear a statement, immediately there are two types of doubts. One is called Viparita Bhavana, the other one is Asambhavana. Asambhavana means this is not possible. How can this be possible? Viparita Bhavana means why only this? That can also be true, right? Like if someone says Lord Vishnu is supreme, then you may say no, but that Purana says Shiva is supreme. Why you're saying only Vishnu is supreme? Like this, you'll get doubts. So therefore, hearing in the association of devotees is important. When we get doubts, we have to express those doubts, and those doubts have to be solved. And there are many, many, believe me, hundreds and thousands and millions of doubts in our hearts, which are stopping us from surrendering to the Supreme Lord. Symptom of Dhrida Shraddha is Sharanagati, surrender. So while we are in this area, what we are doing is, with whatever Shraddha I have, that much bhajan I will be doing. Because I don't have full Shraddha, I will still be doing some karma. That karma should be done in the mode of goodness so that it will actually complement my bhajana, my bhakti, and I should be I should be living in the association of devotees, hearing from the devotees. What should I be hearing? Bhakti Shastras, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, like this. And hearing, whenever I get doubts, I have to clarify those doubts. And when all the doubts are cleared, then I will get Dhrida Shraddha. I will enter into Siddha Bhakti. So then how I will even get here into this area? When I get the mercy of a devotee. That's the only way. By the mercy of a devotee, I will get here. And even while I'm here also, I need association of devotees, mercy of devotees, association of devotees. Throughout we will need. Here also we will need association of devotees. It is never without devotees. When Krishna's mercy will come, after you get association of devotee, then Krishna's mercy will follow. First, devotee's mercy. When you get devotee's mercy, just like eclairs toffee. Inside you have the soft, outside there is, the chewy chocolate. Like that, outside is that devotee's mercy. First you will get, first what you, when you put the candy in your mouth, first thing that you taste is the outside. That is the devotee's mercy. But inside devotee's mercy will be Krishna's mercy. So with Krishna's mercy, then you will get your guru. Again, based on my sincerity. So the type of guru I will get depends on my sincerity. So based on my sincerity, Krishna will guide me to a particular guru. And then finally, when I get this Dhrida Shraddha, I will enter. What you'll do when you get Dhrida Shraddha? You'll be doing sadhana bhakti 24 by 7. That's all you'll be doing, sadhana bhakti. You won't have any other goals in life. You won't have nothing else. 24 by 7, sadhana bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevan, like this. That will be your effort. That will be your endeavor. When you do sadhana bhakti, Krishna becomes pleased by that sadhana bhakti. Then he will give his mercy again. In what way you get his mercy? He will start revealing himself. Here he will be reciprocating with you in the form of Krishna Bhavana. He will be in your heart in the form of consciousness. You will be experiencing Krishna's mercy within your heart. You will feel Krishna's reciprocation in the form of Bhavana, consciousness. Right? Sometimes you feel, oh, Krishna is so merciful, Krishna is so wonderful. You are getting that from Krishna only, but in the form of consciousness. He will reciprocate in the form of bhavana, Krishna bhavana. But as you progress in your sadhana bhakti further and further, when you come to bhava stage, there Krishna actually personally, Krishna in person starts revealing himself to you. So that is happening. Bhava can also happen by the mercy of a devotee. It's possible. But prema, in prema, only Krishna will reveal himself. That's when, by your sadhana bhakti, when Krishna is pleased, he will give you mercy. That mercy is coming here. When he will actually lift the curtain and you can actually see him, you can touch him, you can talk to him, hear him. That will happen there, like that. That's the science of devotional service.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Like in Vrindavan, we see
Yeah.
all these devotees continuously, all the normal people, normal, they're going to work and opening shops, everything. They're just saying Radhe Radhe. They're getting
Yeah.
angry at each other, Radhe Radhe. They're getting happy with each other, Radhe Radhe. Everything. The only word they say is Radhe Radhe. It's so beautiful. Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji. Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
So we'll just wind up, Hare Krishna. We'll just wind up today's session. So we were reading uh, today's topic of speaking about Varnasrama was. Let me just finish this one paragraph, okay? O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste divisions and orders of life is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This system of sectional division, that means Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, right? Sectional division or Varnas. This is, he is Brahmana, he is Kshatriya, he is Vaishya, he is Shudra, he is brahmachari, he is householder, he is vanaprastha, he is sannyasi. Or subsection. So within Shudra now you can have, he is potter, he is washerman, he is this, he is that. You may divide it or not. This section will be there in every society. That's the point. You just have to recognize it. Whether you divide it or not, it is there in every society. So Bhagavad says that you may be situated in any section. It does not matter. Either you be a Kshatriya or a Brahmana or a potter or a washerman or whatever you may be. It does not matter. Everyone should be satisfied by his occupation. But how one gets successful by his occupation? He hasn't got to change the occupation. In the material world, one has to change his occupation for certain kind of success. So just like Srila Prabhupada is saying, in contrast, right, to Vedic system, in the material, when someone who's in the material, because Vedic system goal is to be self-realized, to come out of this ignorance, to come out of this illusion that I am this body. But in a materialistic society, the goal is material result, right? So there people are changing their professions. But actually in Vedic society, there is no need. So with that, we will end today's session. We will continue next Saturday. Uh, thank you all so much. Oh, sorry, Mataji, Achitpriya Mataji. That's why I sent a message in the morning at 5. I'm so sorry. Okay.
No problem. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
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 Hare Krishna.
Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.